I found out my wife had been lying to me for years. And what hurt the most wasn't the lie itself, it was the reason behind it. Have you ever looked at the person you love and suddenly realized you might have never truly known them at all? Because that night, sitting alone in the dark while she slept in our bed, I felt something inside me break in a way I don't think can ever be fixed. I'm 39, she's 37, and we've built what I thought was a solid life together here in the US. A home in the suburbs, a routine, a child, and another one on the way. From the outside, we look like the kind of couple people envied. Stable, happy, normal. But everything started unraveling the day I made that post. I remember those first couple of days after I found everything on her phone. I wasn't myself. I couldn't focus at work, couldn't eat properly, couldn't even look at her without feeling this strange mix of confusion and pain. And she noticed. She kept asking me what was wrong, over and over. Soft at first, then more insistent. I kept brushing it off, saying I was just tired, just stressed. But the truth was, I was falling apart inside. That night, after we put our son to bed, she asked again. And this time, something in me just gave up. I couldn't carry it anymore. So I told her. I told her I had gone through her phone. I told her what I found. When I finally got back home later that day, nothing looked different. But everything felt wrong. You ever walk into your own house and feel like a stranger? That's exactly how it was. The same couch, the same kitchen, the same little toys scattered on the floor from our son. The same life I had built piece by piece over the years. But it didn't feel like mine anymore. She was there when I walked in, sitting quietly like she'd been waiting for me. And for a moment, we just looked at each other. No anger, no shouting, just distance. We sat down that night and talked again. A calmer conversation this time. Less emotion on the surface, but somehow heavier underneath. I told her I knew what I did was wrong, going through her phone. I owned that. I didn't try to justify it, but I also told her the truth. That what hurt me wasn't her past. I don't care if someone had a wild phase. That's life. People grow. People change. What destroyed me was how she saw me. That I wasn't the man she desired. That I was the safe option. The stable choice. The guy you pick when you're done having fun. I told her that I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but that right now, I couldn't see her the same way anymore. And that was the hardest part to say, because I still loved her. That hadn't changed. But love suddenly didn't feel like enough. So I suggested something. Counseling. Not because I believed it would magically fix everything, but because I needed time. Time to think. Time to breathe. Time to understand whether there was anything left worth saving. She agreed immediately, almost too quickly, like she was afraid that if she hesitated, I would walk away for good. So we started going. 2 sessions so far. And if I'm being honest with you, they haven't helped much. We sit there, we talk, we explain things. The therapist asks questions, tries to guide us, tries to help us reconnect. But how do you reconnect when the foundation itself feels fake? How do you rebuild attraction? How do you convince yourself that you're not just someone's backup plan? I don't have those answers. And I don't think the therapist does either. Since then, she's been trying. I'll give her that. She's been more affectionate, more attentive. She reaches for me more, tries to hug me, tries to kiss me, even tried to initiate sex a couple of times. And every time, I said no. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because I couldn't. Because all I can hear in my head is her voice saying she was never really attracted to me. And once you hear something like that, you can't unhear it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. So now when she touches me, instead of feeling wanted, I feel tolerated. And that feeling, it kills everything. At the same time, I've changed too. I don't stay home as much anymore. I go to the gym more often. Not even because I'm trying to become more attractive, but because it's one of the few places where my head goes quiet. I spend more time with my son. We go out, we play, we laugh, and for a little while, I can forget everything else. Those moments, they're the only ones that feel real right now. I've also been going out more. Dinner with friends, drinks with colleagues, just anything to avoid sitting in that house feeling like I'm living a lie. And the strange thing is, I'm starting to feel okay, not happy, but stable. Like I'm slowly detaching. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly. And I think she feels it too, because sometimes I catch her looking at me like she's realizing she might be losing me. But here's the truth I haven't said out loud to her yet. I think I already checked out. Not completely, but enough that I don't know if I can come back. And then there's the baby, due in early April. And that changes everything. Because it's not just about me anymore. It's not just about her. It's about the life we're bringing into this world. And I keep asking myself, do I stay for the kids? Do I try to rebuild something that might never feel real again? Or do I walk away and risk breaking this family apart before it even fully forms? I don't have an answer. Every option feels wrong in its own way. If I stay, I might be living a life where I'm never truly loved the way I want to be. If I leave, I might lose time with my kids, miss moments I can never get back. And maybe the hardest part of all is that I still love her, even after everything, even after knowing the truth. And that makes this so much harder than if I just hated her, because hate is simple. Love isn't. So now I'm stuck in this in-between space, not fully in the relationship, not fully out, just existing, waiting, trying to see if something inside me changes, if something heals, if something comes back. But if I'm being completely honest with you, right now, I think I'm just preparing myself for the end. And maybe that's why I'm here, telling you all of this, because I don't know what the right move is. So let me ask you something. If you were in my position, knowing everything I know, feeling everything I feel, would you stay and try to fix it? Or would you walk away and start over? And if you've ever been in a situation like this, I'd really want to hear what you did. Because right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to move forward without losing myself in the process. And the moment those words left my mouth, everything exploded. She didn't ask what I saw. She didn't try to explain. She didn't even deny anything. She just got angry, really angry. She started crying, raising her voice, asking how I could invade her privacy like that, how I could betray her trust. And honestly, I get it. I know going through her phone was wrong. But what broke me wasn't her anger. It was the fact that she never once addressed what I had actually found. It was like that part didn't even matter to her. And because she's pregnant, because I could see her getting more and more stressed, I didn't push it that night. I didn't want to make things worse. So she went to bed, and I stayed on the couch. I didn't sleep much, maybe an hour, if that. Just staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my head, trying to make sense of it. The next day, she didn't talk to me at all. Not a word. It felt like I didn't exist. And that silence, it was worse than the argument. The following night, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked her if we could talk, really talk. And this time, she agreed. I thought maybe this was it. Maybe this was the moment we clear everything up. But what she told me, I don't think I'll ever forget. She said that years before we met, after breaking up with her long-term ex, she went through a phase where she just wanted to feel free, to explore, to have fun. So she had multiple relationships, short flings, different guys, and she kept all of that from me. Not because she was ashamed of what she did, but because she knew how it would look. Then she said something that hit me harder than anything else. She told me that after all of that, she decided she was done playing around. She wanted to settle down. And that's when she met me. So I asked her, quietly, trying to keep my voice steady, was I just the guy you settled for? And she looked at me and said yes. But not in a cruel way. Not like she was trying to hurt me. She said it like it was supposed to comfort me. She said I was better than those guys. That I had my life together. That I had goals. That I was financially stable. And I just sat there, listening, feeling smaller with every word. So I pushed a little further. I asked her something I wasn't sure I even wanted the answer to. If I didn't have all that, would you still have chosen me? There was a pause. And then she said, probably not. I don't think I've ever felt pain like that before. Not anger, not jealousy, just emptiness. Like everything I thought we had was suddenly rewritten into something else. Something transactional. Something conditional. She started crying again after that. And then she said something that completely shattered whatever was left of me. She said she loves me, but she was never physically attracted to me the way she was to those other men. And now, after everything we've been through trying to have children, sex just feels like a task to her. Not something she enjoys. A task. I remember sitting there, completely still, trying not to react. Because if I reacted, I think I would have broken down completely. So instead, I just kept asking questions. I asked her why she was still talking to some of those guys even after we were together. And she said it was just for validation, that she never cheated. But it felt good to feel desired, to feel wanted. I nodded. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. But inside, I was done. That night, she asked me to come to bed with her, and I told her I couldn't. I stayed on the couch again, and I didn't sleep at all, because that was the night I realized something I never thought I'd have to face. The woman I fell in love with might not even exist. Or maybe she did, but only in the version of reality I created in my head. The next morning, I went to work like nothing had happened. But instead of focusing on my job, I made an appointment with a family lawyer. Not because I had already decided to leave, but because I needed to understand what leaving would actually mean. Financially, legally, as a father. I sat there in his office, explaining everything as calmly as I could, even though my hands were shaking under the table. He told me that here in the US, custody is usually split 50-50, unless there's a serious reason not to. He explained that since we both work, there likely wouldn't be any financial support payments between us. For the newborn, things would be different at first. The baby would stay mostly with the mother, but I would still have visitation rights. And after a few months, it would go back to shared custody. Then we talked about assets, the house, the cars, everything we built. And even though I paid for most of it, it would all be split evenly, 50-50. I remember walking out of that office feeling numb, not angry, not sad, just empty, like I was already halfway out of my own life. That day, I stayed at work late, later than I ever had before. And when I got home, I didn't go to bed. I went back to the couch. Again. The next morning, before leaving for work, I told her I needed space, that I'd be staying in a hotel for a few days. She tried to stop me. She called, she texted, but I didn't respond much. Because the truth is, I didn't want to talk. I just wanted silence. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to drink, sleep, and not feel anything for a while. And for a few days, that's exactly what I did. The truth is, I've been imagining 2 different futures, and neither of them feels right. In one version, I stay. We keep going to counseling. We try to rebuild something from the ground up. We raise our kids together under the same roof. We become functional. Maybe even peaceful. But deep down, I'm always wondering, every time she looks at me, is she comparing me to someone else? Every time we're intimate, is she actually there? Or just going through the motions? Every time she says, I love you, does it mean what I think it means? And I don't know if I can live like that. Because once doubt settles in, it doesn't just go away. It grows quietly, slowly, until it becomes the background noise of your entire life. Then there's the other version. The one where I leave, where I accept that this isn't the relationship I thought it was, and I walk away. We co-parent. We divide everything. We build separate lives. I see my kids half the time instead of every day. I miss birthdays, bedtime stories, random little moments that you never realize matter until they're gone. And that thought, it terrifies me, because being a father, that's the one thing in my life I'm absolutely sure about. It's the one role I don't question. The one place where I feel real. So walking away doesn't just mean losing her. It means losing part of that life too. And I keep going back and forth between these 2 futures, like I'm stuck in some kind of loop. Stay, leave, stay, leave. No matter which direction I lean, something inside me resists. And then there's something else I haven't really admitted to anyone, not even to myself. Until recently, part of me feels replaced, not by another man, but by an idea. The idea of what I represent. Stability, security, a good life. I'm not the guy she couldn't resist. I'm the guy she chose when she was done chasing excitement. And I keep asking myself, is that enough? Is it enough to be loved for what you provide instead of who you are? Some people might say yes. Some people might say that's what real relationships are built on. But I don't know if I believe that, because I wanted to be desired, not just appreciated. I wanted to feel like she chose me, not just logically, but emotionally, physically, completely. And now that I know she didn't, I don't know how to unknow that. Lately, I've started noticing small things. Things I probably ignored before. The way she looks at me versus the way she used to look at her phone when she got a message. The difference in energy. The difference in presence. And maybe I'm overthinking it. Or maybe I'm just finally seeing things clearly. I don't know anymore. What I do know is that I've changed. I'm quieter, more distant, less reactive. It's like I've built this wall inside myself. Not to keep her out, but to keep myself from falling apart. And the scariest part? It's working. Because now, when she tries to be close, I don't feel pulled in. I feel neutral. And I never thought I'd feel neutral about her. A few nights ago, she came and sat next to me on the couch. No words, just sat there. After a while, she leaned her head on my shoulder, something she's done 1,000 times before. And I just sat there, didn't move, didn't react, didn't feel anything. And that's when it hit me. Not the anger, not the sadness, but the absence of both. And I think that's when you know something is really broken. When you stop feeling. She eventually looked up at me and asked quietly, "Are we going to be okay?" And I didn't know what to say because I didn't want to lie, but I also didn't want to hurt her more. So I gave her the only honest answer I had. I don't know. And the look on her face, that hurt more than anything else. Because for the first time, I think she realized this might not be something we can fix. That this isn't just a rough patch. This is something deeper, something fundamental. And now we're both just waiting, going through the motions, hoping something shifts. But I don't think hope is enough anymore. I think clarity is coming, slowly, quietly. And I'm not sure we're going to like what it brings. So now I'm here, at this point where I have to make a decision, sooner or later. Not just for me, but for my kids. For the life we've built. For the future we're about to step into. And if there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that sometimes the hardest part isn't the truth itself. It's what you have to do after you finally see it. So I'll ask you one last thing. If you were me, standing at this exact crossroads, would you fight for something that might never feel real again? Or would you walk away? Even if it meant losing pieces of your life you can never get back. Because right now, I'm still trying to find the courage to choose. And if this story hit you in any way, if you've ever felt torn between love and self-respect, let me know what you would do in the comments. And if you want to hear more real stories like this, you know what to do.